Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Neighborhood Science Special Program, Essential Steps to Protect Biodiversity in Los Angeles. I'm Vivian Burr from the Exploration and Creativity Department at the Los Angeles Public Library. I am a librarian and lead coordinator for our system-wide neighborhood science and STEAM programs. I'm also your host today. In today's program, we will learn about the amazing biodiversity in Los Angeles and show you how everyone can participate in the LA Bioblitz Challenge this year to celebrate California Biodiversity Day every day this September. Yes, you heard it right. This year, Los Angeles Public Library's Neighborhood Science Initiative is again collaborating with LA Sanitation and Environment Biodiversity Program, again, to bring you the second annual Bioblitz Challenge that runs from September 1st to September 30th. Our special guest, Michelle Barton, is going to share with us some very important biodiversity updates in our city and why and how we should all join this year's LA Bioblitz Challenge to help protect and save the wildlife and their habitats in our communities. Michelle leads and manages the City of LA's Biodiversity Program. Michelle earns her Bachelor of Science in Biology from UCLA and her Master of Science in Biology from California State University, Long Beach. She loves hiking in the LA area, going to farmers market, trying new restaurants, and hanging out with her cat, G. Without further ado, let's welcome Michelle.
Thank you, Vivian. Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle Barton, as Vivian mentioned, and I'm LA Sanitation and Environment lead for the Biodiversity Program. And on today's virtual field trip, you're going to learn all about LA's amazing biodiversity and how you can take part in this year's LA Bioblitz Challenge. So now I'll share my screen. All right. So like I mentioned, today we're going to be talking about biodiversity. But what is biodiversity and why should you care? Well, this slide shows some examples of biodiversity in Los Angeles. What do you see? Some birds, mammals, reptiles, plants, whole ecosystems? Exactly. We define biodiversity as the plants, animals, and ecosystems that enrich and sustain Los Angeles. And in LA, that is a lot of different species. In fact, in LA County alone, we have over 4,000 species of plants and animals, over 50 of which are considered to be endangered species. In fact, we have so much biodiversity here that we are considered to be one of 36 global biodiversity hotspots. We are in the California Floristic Province, which is in the green area near the red arrow on the left. And this seems really cool, but what does it mean to be in a biodiversity hotspot? Well, you have to meet two specific criteria. First, you have to have a huge variety of plants and animals, which I already mentioned LA does. And second, you have to have experienced habitat loss. So biodiversity hotspots are places where there's a ton of biodiversity, but it continues to be threatened. So what threatens biodiversity? There are three major threats to biodiversity across the globe. Climate change, which leads to changed temperature, precipitation, and fire patterns, as well as sea level rise. Air, water, and soil pollution, and habitat loss. Habitat loss is particularly prevalent in areas like LA that are urban areas that have converted their nature to cities. So that means many of our ecosystems and habitats have been fragmented or have disappeared entirely. The threats that I mentioned to global biodiversity are growing, and biodiversity continues to be at risk. And it's actually estimated that if big changes in how the world protects biodiversity are not put into action, we could see over 1 million species go extinct in the next few decades. So why should you care about biodiversity? Biodiversity is, in my opinion, one of the best indicators of ecosystem health. Plus, if that's not enough, biodiversity provides food sources, pollinates crops, has public health benefits, and keeps your air, water, and soil clean. Also, this presentation has been scheduled to coincide with California Biodiversity Day. California Biodiversity Day is a special day that is celebrated on September 7th each year and is a wonderful way for you to appreciate our state's incredible biodiversity and an opportunity to take action to protect it. So while we know there is a lot of biodiversity here in LA, there is just too much for scientists like me to monitor and catalog by ourselves. We do have some biologists that go out into the field and do surveys in mountains and oceans, but we have found that it's really powerful to work with you, community scientists. The observations you make on community science platforms like iNaturalist go into huge global open data sources that help scientists around the world gather data and make decisions. Every observation that is recorded using iNaturalist contributes to biodiversity science, from the rarest butterfly sighting to the most common backyard weed. So next, I'm going to show a quick video on how you can get started with iNaturalist.
Okay, so you've installed the iNaturalist app and created an account. Time to get outside and record your first observation. Here's how to do it. Any living thing, like a plant, animal, or fungus, can be an observation on iNaturalist. Once you find something you'd like to record, just tap Observe and take a photo. You can review your picture, then hit Next if it looks good. To identify it, hit What did you see? If you have an internet connection, iNaturalist will suggest 10 visually similar species and often a common ancestor. You can choose one of those or search for a species name. On this observation details screen, you can add more photos of the same organism or write a note. The date, time, and location have been automatically added. You can also change the geoprivacy of the observation, mark whether it's captive or cultivated, or add it to a project. Once you're finished, just hit Share and your observation will be uploaded for everyone to see and identify. That's it. Keep on exploring and sharing.
Great, so if you're new to iNaturalist, hopefully that was a good overview. If you do want to rewatch that video or check out some of the other tutorial videos that iNaturalist has, you can scan this QR code or go to the link that's shown below here. So next, now that you're familiar with iNaturalist, I want to tell you about one more vocabulary term. I want to teach you about bioblitzes. So bioblitzes are organized efforts over a short amount of time to make a lot of community science observations in a specific place. And bioblitzes can make a really big impact and also be a really fun way to learn about the natural world around you. And today is the official launch for a very special Bioblitz, the second annual Bioblitz Challenge. The challenge is on for the entire month of September, from September 1st to September 30th. And this is a great opportunity for you to get started with iNaturalist and learn about biodiversity. So I am formally inviting each and every one of you to participate in this year's LA Bioblitz Challenge. So our LA Bioblitz Challenge has two main goals. The first goal is for you to make observations of the plants, animals, and fungi you see in what are called observation cold spots. The second goal is to make observations of 38 very special species called indicator species. Over the next few slides, I'll tell you a little bit more about each of these goals. So there are actually over 1.3 million observations on iNaturalist in the database. And the interesting thing about these observations is that they're not spread evenly across the city of LA. So the images you see here are part of a heat map of research grade observations made on iNaturalist in the last calendar year. And when we look at the pattern of observations in small grids like the ones you can see on the right, you see that there are some really interesting patterns. Some areas shown in dark green actually have hundreds of observations right now, while others shown in white have 0 observations. And these white areas are what we call observation cold spots. We know that there is biodiversity there, but it hasn't been captured, and we haven't seen any observations come in the last year. So will you help us catalog what is in these places? To help you understand if you're near a biodiversity data cold spot or a hot spot, we've created a really cool interactive map. Next, I'll do a quick little demo to show you how you can use our interactive map. So this is the map, and you can zoom in or out on any area, and then you can click on a grid to see how many observations have been made on iNaturalist there. In this case, we have 16 observations that have been made in this area. But you'll see if I click on a white area, it has 0 observations. And this is one of our data cold spots. To find out if your house or your school is in a biodiversity hotspot or cold spot, you can use the find address or place. You can type in a location and the map will tell you where you are. So let's do an example. So here's an example in downtown, and you can see the address shows up, and then you can check out and see that the Public Works building, which is where my office is, has 2 observations. So I encourage you to play around with this map and learn a little bit more about the interesting patterns of community science data we see on iNaturalist here in LA. So the second goal of the challenge is to make observations of special indicator species. And these indicator species are found in places that have good habitat, have lots of available food and prey, have water, good quality shelter, and overall have good environmental conditions. So if one of these species is present, it tells you a lot about the habitat quality. So next, I'll share some examples of the species we are tracking as part of LA Sand's biodiversity program and species that we hope you can see out in the field during this year's Bioblitz challenge. So first up is the California quail. This is an iconic ground-dwelling bird that has a very special crest called a plume on top of their head. You can see these birds running around in big groups in larger open spaces like Griffith Park. Next up is this pretty blue songbird, the western bluebird. This species is more common in neighborhood parks, and these small birds with their bright blue color are pretty easy to identify. We do have 2 plant species that we're looking for as part of the challenge. This is one of them. This is the California rose, a beautiful native flowering plant with these nice open pink flowers. We also are tracking a number of species that are charismatic megafauna, like this bobcat. And while we would be super impressed if you were able to get a picture of a bobcat, these are really secretive species. So to actually make an observation of them, you can upload pictures of scat or of tracks, and that could actually serve as an observation. This is the greater roadrunner, which is a really cool species that calls LA home. Roadrunners are so fast that they can actually outrace humans and kill rattlesnakes. They are omnivores and can eat poisonous prey, which is super cool. And you might be familiar with roadrunners from Saturday morning cartoons and the Looney Tunes Roadrunner. The last species I'll mention is the El Segundo blue butterfly. And this species is really special because it is an endangered species and it's endemic. So endangered species are those that are at risk of extinction. And endemic species are those that are only found in particular places. So the El Segundo blue is endemic to the LA area, meaning it's found here and nowhere else in the world. We have a population of these butterflies in the coastal areas in some dunes near the LAX airport. And the cool thing about this species is that only found in sandy dune habitats with a special plant called coast buckwheat, which is the plant you can see in the photo here. So if you'd like to learn more about our indicator species, I encourage you to check out our beautiful indicator species guidebook. It's a great outreach tool and it's available on the Bioblitz website for you to check out. Each species in the booklet has a photo, a fun fact, habitat information, and even observation tips of where you can go to check out the species and hopefully grab some photos that can be uploaded to iNaturalist. In addition, there's some other information on diet, predators, and behavior. It's a really great resource, and I hope you check it out. So now that we've kind of gone over the goals of the Bioblitz Challenge, how can you actually participate? Well, to get started, you can follow 3 easy steps. First, download the iNaturalist app. Second, get outside, explore, observe, and photograph the wildlife around you. And then last, make sure you upload your observations to the LA Bioblitz Challenge 2022 project on iNaturalist. To complete the challenge and qualify for exclusive prize drawings, you'll need to upload at least 10 observations of wild plants and animals, including 3 or more indicator species, to the LA Bioblitz Challenge project on iNaturalist. You'll also want to make sure that at least one of your observations is in a data cold spot. Our team has created a printable game card for participants to use that has everything you need to know. The front of the card has some basic information about the challenge and how to get started. It also includes a convenient QR code that you can scan to check out the project webpage. The back of the card includes an indicator species checklist and checkboxes to confirm that you have completed all challenge requirements to qualify for those exclusive prize drawings. So last year's first ever LA Bioblitz Challenge concluded with really remarkable results. Last year's challenge took place over 8 weeks, and we had almost 15,000 unique observations of animals, plants, and insects that were recorded and shared to the project using the iNaturalist app. We also had 29 of our 38 indicator species observed during the challenge. The most observed indicator species last year were the monarch butterfly, the red-tailed hawk, and the great blue heron. We did have observations, though, of some more elusive species, including the endangered El Segundo butterfly I mentioned before. So this year, we're hoping that we'll have at least 10,000 observations over the 4 weeks of the challenge. We're also hoping that with your help, we can get observations of all 38 of our indicator species. In case you're curious how this data will be used, the data from iNaturalist and from this specific project will be analyzed and studied by scientists at the city like me to understand the presence and spread of species across the city, for mapping, analysis, and research, and even to understand and decide where certain projects are needed. For instance, observations of invasive weed species can help spur weed removal projects like the one shown in the picture on the far right. The data will also be used to measure metrics in a special tool called the LA City Biodiversity Index. 5 of the 25 metrics in this index rely on community science data from iNaturalist. We actually just completed the first ever assessment of our LA City Biodiversity Index and used lots of data generated by community scientists just like you. In case you want to check it out, the findings from this report have been published online at lacitysan.org/biodiversity. The benchmark assessment of the LA City Biodiversity Index yielded an overall score of 37 out of 110 possible points. So in terms of a grade, this is an F. and this is not a very impressive score. So there's really a lot of room for improvement, and we at the biodiversity team are using this score as a call to action. In case this presentation or the call to action has made you want to learn more about what you as an Angelino can do to protect biodiversity and how you can help celebrate California Biodiversity Day all September long, these flyers offer some tips and fun ideas for ways that you, your families, and classmates can protect and catalog biodiversity. These flyers and a lot of the other resources I've mentioned today can be found on the LAPL website or at our website, lacitycm.org/biodiversity. So thank you so much for your interest in protecting and cataloging biodiversity in LA. We can't wait to see what you observe this year during the LA Bioblitz Challenge.
Thank you for such a beautiful and awesome presentation, Michelle. Thank you so much. Now, are you all ready to explore your neighborhood and around your homes and to help Michelle and her team to track these 38 indicator species? If you are, I have more exciting news for you. Los Angeles Public Library now has a really, really cool neighborhood science Exploring Biodiversity kit available for checkout at 30 of our neighborhood science branches. The kit comes with binoculars, with cell phone lens kit, and a few other gadgets for you. These would be able to help you to get a much closer look at the wildlife or plants that you spotted and help you take a better and clearer photo to share with us on iNaturalist. And to find out if there is one neighborhood science branch near you, please visit lapl.org/NASI/cats. And as Michelle mentioned earlier, we do have a prize drawing. And if you are the winner, you will have a chance to win this Bioblitz Nature Exploring Tote. And in the tote, we have water bottles, we have a journal, and we have this really cool solar power bank that you can take with you to go out and explore nature and take photos for us. All right. So for more information on how to participate in the drawing, please visit our website at lapl.org/bioblitz. Oh, and please do not forget to share your fun, amazing observation photos with us on social media using the hashtag LABioblitz. It is time for us to wrap up today's program. Bioblitz conservation biodiversity conservation is a long-term effort. It takes years and even decades and lots of manpower to collect the observation data to really understand the threats and potential solutions to a landscape. We really hope this September, all of you will be joining us and in participating in the LA Bioblitz Challenge and become a neighborhood scientist starting today to help Michelle and other scientists and researchers collect these important observation data to support cities' effort in protecting species and their habitats in our community. Let's start exploring and observing amazing biodiversity in and around your homes, communities, workplace, and share the joy of discovery on iNaturalist. Thank you all for watching, and we look forward to connecting with you on iNaturalist soon. Happy Bioblitzing! Goodbye!